DCW 50 News at 10 starts now.
We have your top 10 news stories, including weather and the first 10 minutes on the DCW News at 10. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Candace Burns. Your weather first kicks off the top 10 at 10 tonight. Meteorologist Zach Daniel is standing by with a look at your forecast, and a beautiful day turned into a beautiful night, Zach.
That's right, Candace. It's nice out there. The warmest day so far in 2016 for the district with a high of 85. And since then, we've dropped back into the 60s and 70s across most of the region. Still 71 in D.C., still 75 down in Charlottesville. A few 50s out there as well, but overall, it's going to be a pretty mild night for all of us. High pressure still in control. Just a few high, thin clouds sweeping in from the north and west. Here's your forecast for tomorrow morning. Already up into the mid-60s by 8 o'clock, and I've got rain chances in the forecast, something we haven't seen in a while. We'll talk about that straight ahead.
Thank you, Zach. Next up in your top 10 stories at 10, we have some new details tonight in the investigation into the deadly shooting of a local firefighter. The accused shooter has been released from custody and no charges have been filed. DCW News at 10's Cameron Thompson joins us live in Landover Hills, where firefighter John Umschneider was stationed. And Cameron, can you tell us why there haven't been any charges yet?
Yes, right now, Candace, the reason investigators say there haven't been any charges filed as of right now is because they just don't have the evidence to necessarily make that decision. But that doesn't mean that there won't be charges filed in the weeks to come.
We are less than 72 hours into this incident. We can tell you that there are any number of pieces of evidence that still have to be analyzed. There are ballistics tests. There are witnesses who we've not had an opportunity to interview at this point.
And Prince George's County State's Attorney Angela Alsobrook says when those pieces are gathered, the case will likely go to a grand jury to decide if charges will be filed for Friday's deadly shooting. Landover Hills firefighter medic John Umschneider was shot and killed by the owner of this Temple Hills home. The homeowner's brother had said he might be in a state of diabetic shock and called for help. Firefighters tried to force their way in when no one answered, and that's when investigators say the man inside the home opened fire. The homeowner didn't need medical attention and was questioned that night and now faces more questioning.
We took the step in collaboration with the State's Attorney's Office to issue the subject of this grand jury subpoena, so we anticipate him to present himself before the grand jury tomorrow.
Among what police say they are trying to figure out is what was the homeowner thinking that night? Did he feel threatened, and was his response reasonable in the mind of an ordinary person? And the fire chief says from his perspective, the firefighters did everything right that night, but adds,
no significant incident happens without an analysis that in most cases creates change. And that change may be difficult for some, but it's going to be necessary, and I absolutely think that the potential exists.
Two key witnesses that police still need to interview in relation to all this are the accused gunman's brother and Morningside firefighter Kevin Swain. Both were shot in this incident and are still recovering. In Swain's case, he was hit 4 times. The fire chief says he is making improvements, but still has a long road of recovery ahead of him. Reporting live in Landover Hills, Cameron Thompson, DCW News at 10.
Cameron, thank you. Memorial services are scheduled for firefighter John Umschneider in Hollywood, Maryland. A visitation will be tomorrow and his funeral on Wednesday. And now to a crime alert out of Rockville. An investigation underway after a death at a hotel turned into a murder case. First responders found the victim dead inside the Red Roof Inn off of Shady Grove Road. Investigators believe the victim, Kiona Blakeney, a transgender woman, was assaulted and killed early Saturday morning. And police say Kiona may have been involved in prostitution at the time of the murder. An update now on a murder case in Southeast D.C. Police say they have made an arrest in the deadly shooting of Gabriel Turner. That's an FBI employee. He was shot and killed last month just steps from his mother's home. DCW News at 10's Joe Dominguez spoke to Turner's family, and he's live at police headquarters tonight. Joe, what were you able to find out?
The family was not here during the announcement here at the steps of the police station, but they say they are happy that an arrest has been made and the murder charge, second-degree murder charge, has been levied in this case. But still, they are very angry because they say that Gabriel had nothing to do with what happened in the moments before he was shot and killed.
And I miss them. I cry every night, thinking about my baby.
Ellen Turner hasn't been outside much since her 46-year-old son Gabriel was murdered just around the corner from his childhood home.
We had just had breakfast here.
He was taking a shortcut around Bernie Place on Washington's southeast side, a walk he often made with his mother.
I can't go through that path where my son got killed at.
Police say Turner got caught in the crossfire of a fight between two other people when he was killed. Detectives say 29-year-old Kelby Gordon was having an argument with another person and fired the bullet that hit Turner, a shot police say was meant for someone else.
My son didn't bother nobody. All he do was go to work every day. Yep, and he stayed to himself. He was quiet. He never been in trouble, none.
This is not the only recent case of an innocent bystander being killed in the district, which is why the district's police chief took to the podium today to deliver a strong warning.
The people in the city are tired of the random violence, and they're tired of people being shot and children being shot in their community, and so people are working with the police. So if you're going to commit these crimes in the city, you're going to get arrested.
And Kelby Gordon, he's from around the neighborhood. The family says that they know him. He was arraigned today. He will be back in court next Friday. Reporting live in Washington, D.C., Joe Dominguez, DCW News at 10.
Thanks, Joe. And there is still no sign of a missing Fairfax County firefighter, Nicole Mittendorf. Her car was found parked in a remote section of a park on Saturday, the day after she was reported missing. And tonight, community members came together at a vigil to pray for Nicole's safe return. DCW News at 10's Claudia Rupcich is live at Mittendorf's church in Woodbridge, where the ceremony just wrapped up a little while ago. Claudia, I'm sure it was an emotional service.
Absolutely. Nicole Mittendorf has been a member of this church, St. Paul United Methodist, here at Woodbridge for more than 2 years. Tonight I spoke to church members and her friends who know her and her husband, Stephen, well. They tell me tonight was about coming together in prayer to pray not only for her safe return, but her family as well.
We appreciate your support.
The power of hope and the power of prayer is really kind of what's helping everyone to survive.
Prayer to bring 31-year-old Nicole Mittendorf back home.
Our church family's deeply saddened.
Mittendorf was last heard from Wednesday morning. Her last known location was Warrenton, Virginia, about 40 miles northwest of her Woodbridge home.
She cares about protecting people, and we need to protect her now. We need to find her. We need to bring her home safe.
Mittendorf is a firefighter and paramedic with the Fairfax County Fire Department. She was reported missing Friday after she didn't show up for her shift that morning. Today, her fire chief released a statement saying in part, quote, "All of us at Fairfax Fire and Rescue are concerned for Nicole and want nothing more than her safe return."
I'm just puzzled. I can't believe there's not even a trace or a sign of that. And being a firefighter, you would think there would be some kind of something. I don't know. It's shocking. Shocking. I feel bad for her family.
Saturday night, her Mini Cooper was found abandoned in a remote area of Shenandoah National Park. Police spent the weekend searching the nearby trail. Today, more than 100 state and federal teams searched the park, covering several miles of land.
Who would take a trip like that by themselves and walk in the mountains? I think it's suspicious.
Police say there's no reason to suspect foul play at this point. And this church family isn't giving up.
I think when a community comes together that it brings that hope and love. It's just, I think, a testimony that of how much we love Nicole and how much we believe that prayer is powerful and effective.
And Mittendorf's father and her husband, Stephen, have been posting on Facebook throughout this whole ordeal. They are thanking the community for their prayers and all of their support. Her husband, Stephen, is actually a member of the Virginia State Police. Meanwhile, Virginia State Police are asking you if you know anything about Nicole's whereabouts, you can call them. That number you can call is 703-803-0026. You can also email them at questions@vsp.virginia.gov. Live in Woodbridge, I'm Claudia Rupcich, DCW News at 10.
We hope she returns safely. Thank you, Claudia. In tonight's Health Alert, Virginia can start testing for the Zika virus, and that's thanks to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's approval. This test will find antibodies in the blood of people who could be infected by the mosquito-borne illness. Last week, the Virginia Department of Health reported 11 cases of Zika virus in the state. As of now, there is no vaccine for the virus, and health officials are encouraging people to do what they can to avoid mosquito bites. Developing now, what could end up becoming the landmark case of the term is now underway at the Supreme Court, and the lives of millions of people will be affected by the outcome. Demonstrators gathered outside the Supreme Court today as the justices heard arguments challenging President Obama's executive actions on immigration. The orders are meant to protect millions of migrants from deportation while they apply for work permits and benefits. The justices will hear challenges from 26 states in the House of Representatives. Some sad news to pass along tonight. Doris Roberts, the star of Everybody Loves Raymond, has died. She was 90 years old. A family spokesperson says Roberts passed away in her sleep in Los Angeles, and there's no official word on the cause of her death, but the actress had been healthy and she was active. Roberts played the mother to Ray Romano's character on the long-running sitcom. And a reminder tonight, if you haven't filed your tax returns yet, you're really running out of time. You have less than 2 hours to submit them or to request an extension to avoid a penalty. The deadline normally falls on April 15th, but Emancipation Day pushed the deadline back over the weekend. It is time to break it down. We have a quick look at the traffic alerts that could affect your commute. Drivers on the George Washington need to slow down. Warm weather this week means more people are heading out to local parks, so police are starting to step up their patrols. You'll notice more officers in one section of the parkway running south from Alexandria to Mount Vernon, and the speed limit there ranges from 35 to 45 miles per hour, and there are many people that are trying to cross the road to get to the park along the Potomac. Police will be out using their radars to check for speeding in the coming days, so you've been warned. Some dramatic new video ahead. A reporter becomes a part of the story when he rushes to help save a man in rising floodwaters. Plus, watch out, online video streaming companies. Amazon is coming for you. The company is switching up the way it does business, and we'll tell you how they're trying to get new customers.